Morning folks, Share here on Friday the 9th of December with your Leeds news. There's no transfer news or rumour floating around today. There usually isn't directly after a game, but there is some fallout from the Leeds Elche game last night, and we're going to cover that as well. Some information on injuries and more injuries, as well as players who may be moving on from Leeds as well. I'll give my opinion on the match at the end of this video if you want to stick around for that. If you just want the news, we'll crack on and we'll get in with that. And we will start with that game. Leeds with a 2-1 win over Elche in what is the champions of the Festa del Ex Cup. Not an easy one to say. Very much a game of two halves. This one, first half, very poor from Leeds. Looked shell-shocked, looked off the pace, but a very aggressive Elche team. And a game that was played with not really a friendly tempo in the first 45 minutes anyway. And you could argue the next 10 or 15 into the second half as well. Leeds did come away with a 2-1 win. A goal from Joe Gallagher after some lovely work from Jack Harrison and Sam Greenwood. And a fantastic goal from Mateusz Klich. Mateusz Klich doing Mateusz Klich things and scoring the most stereotypical Mateusz Klich goal you could see. But a beautiful goal. Nevertheless, gave Leeds a 2-1 win. Leeds did leave the game with Sonny Perkins coming off with a calf injury. He kind of stayed on the pitch for a while and looked like he was trying to run it off. Ultimately, it didn't work. And then Crescencio Summerville went off with an injury as well. Now, what Leeds have said so far is Perkins looks like a calf injury. I think it could have been cramp initially because they've had a very, very hard week in terms of fitness work this week from all reports. And it could just be a bit of calf setting in there as well. Could be a bit of cramp setting in there in his calf. And then coming into the game, he may have aggravated it a little bit. So fingers crossed that's not too bad. And Crescencio Summerville, they're describing as a kick. He's just kicked through the back of the defender as he's gone through on goal. The defender went off injured and so did Cree. So fingers crossed it's just a knock, a bit of a stinger, and he should be okay in a couple of days. So fingers crossed. But any more information, we'll bring that to you early next week. Moving on then, talking about players that weren't at the game, and Illan Meslier was not at the game, and Jesse Marsh was commenting on the goalkeeper who has stayed behind in Leeds, suffering from a viral illness along with Christopher Klassen. And what Jesse Marsh said about the illness was this: Illan has what you guys would call glandular fever, so we're trying to be safe with him, but also measure him appropriately and see. I think it'll be close to when we get back into training, day, maybe week before Man City. The interesting thing about glandular fever is incredibly contagious, and it can stay with you for days or months. It depends on the severity of it, and fingers crossed Illan is on the less severe side of that. But a smart move to keep him away from the squad because, as I said, it is very contagious and you don't want that getting around the squad. So it looks like it's going to be tight. Not a huge problem. I think Joel Robles has looked fantastic in goal for Leeds when he has played. A very solid deputy there as well if we need him to come in and play against City. Also then talking about Cody Drameh, who came on and played the second half yesterday and played pretty well and got some fantastic deliveries into the box, is guilty of everything Leeds fullbacks are guilty of right now, getting caught in behind. Very much a system issue. But Jesse Marsh was very complimentary talking about Cody, and he said this about him when asked after the game. He has Luke ahead of him right now competing for that position, Rasmus as well. Cody, the best 2 weeks he's ever had since I've been here have been the last 2 weeks. Mentally, he's got pretty clear in his head and he's playing really well. I'm really happy for him. You can see it. It's coming to the transfer window. He needs to put himself in the shop window, as it were, if he wants to leave. If he wants to stay, he needs to do more. And maybe he's starting to do that. But as I said, Jesse Marsh very complimentary of him. And he did have a very good second half. His crossing ability is very, very good. So that shouldn't be taken away from the player either. Moving on then, talking about Mateusz Klich. And this is a sad one because it looked like a goodbye last night. To me anyway, and to a few others. There's a lot of long hugs and Klich pick up the trophy, ran over to the fans with it rather than Luke Ayling, who was wearing the armband. Tough one to see. But Jesse was asked about Mateusz Klich by the Yorkshire Evening Post last night, and this is what he said. It's not totally clear yet. We should hold off saying anything about it. Obviously, there's been conversations, but nothing concrete. There's a lot of love for Mateusz in the group. He's an incredible person, so we like him. It will be tough to watch him leave after what he's done for Leeds in the few seasons he's been with us, but he is at the older age, heading towards 32 years of age now, wants to play football, and Leeds have that younger midfield group coming through and linked with a lot of midfielders also over the first half of the season so far. There is interest in Klich in Europe, and we'll extend this story by talking about that, but there is also interest in Klich across the pond. According to a Polish journalist, Peter Kuzminski, there is interest from Royal Antwerp in Europe, who are said to be very interested in bringing the player in, as well as Wayne Rooney's DC United over in the MLS. Personally, I think he'd kill it in the MLS. He'd look fantastic over there, the style of play that happens over there. But he has been linked with a move to both those places currently. It remains to be seen, as Jesse said. It's not clear right now. We have to wait a couple of weeks. I think we'll see early moves in January if he does go. Leeds have been looking at midfielders. Sasa Lukic, as a player, has been mentioned numerous times, will play in a similar position to Mateus Klich in that 10 role. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I personally would like to keep him around, but I do understand if he wants to play as much football as he can towards the back end of his career. I was a player who didn't like sitting on the bench, so I get it when players don't like staying there. So tricky one, but in terms of the match last night, that's the news. So if you just want to see the news and you're only sticking around for that, thanks very much for watching. If you want my opinion on the match, I'll give it now. It was a weird game. The first half was really poor. I thought it was really poor by Leeds. They were way off the pace of the game. They looked rusty. They look like a team that haven't played in 6 weeks, even though they haven't only played in 3 or 4. But it got better in the second half. It got better. There was some very sloppy bits in the first half. Defensively, we still look very susceptible to counter-attacking. I don't think we've worked on that enough. The system leaves us very open to that. We got caught a couple of times when we were looking at to concede a goal from it as well. Second half, I thought we were very, very good. There were a huge amount of changes. Elche changed everybody bar 2 players for the second half. It was very confusing at one point. And Leeds did the same over the course of the second half, brought a lot of players in. Not as much. I think Elche changed their entire squad and still brought on a couple of extra players after that as well. Leeds only brought on the 4 or 5 they had on the bench. What was nice to see was, I thought, Joe Gelhardt getting a start was nice. He barely kicked the ball in the first half, was very much out of the game. Second half, he was exactly where you wanted him to be. Sam Greenwood had a very good game when he came into the play as well. And it was a lovely move for the goal between Jack Harrison slipping the ball down the line and a lovely cutback from Sam Greenwood for Joe to tap it in. So Gelhardt exactly where he needs to be to get goals. Just being at 6-yard area in that penalty area was excellent as well. I thought Sonny Perkins coming in was nice to see, and then unfortunately he gets that injury pretty much straight away. Cody Drameh, as we've already said, had a pretty good second half as well. But I thought Mateo Joseph really stood out. He made one run from the right hand side inside, and he must have gone past with 3 or 4 players. He was unlucky enough to get a strike away in the end towards goal. Thought it was nice. He looked really, really good, looked dangerous around the box, and not afraid to run at people. I like this kid. I like what I see of him for the age that he's at. He's got a very mature head in him. I love his attitude as well. He's talking about sitting with the players for breakfast and dinner and just soaking up information from them and learning. That's what you want. You want the young players to be trying to get as much from the older players as they can learn and develop. Less of the complaining about, okay, game time. So, yeah, look, it's a pre-season friendly. You're not going to learn a huge amount from it. It's about getting minutes and legs and getting them back up to speed. I think you'll see a lot of the sloppy stuff that was in that game get cleaned up over the next couple of days before they play Sociedad, and then they've got AS Monaco before we restart with Manchester City on the 28th of December. So it's going to be a busy couple of weeks for the players. Their hard work part of their season is down. A lot of the sloppiness last night will be down to tired legs. They've done a tough couple of weeks of their second pre-season, if you want to call it that. That'll ease down now more into more shape work and more ball work and more on the pitch work, and you'll start to see the sloppiness hopefully just go out of the game. And also you could see last night what Tyler Adams and Brendan Aronson bring to that team with them missing from the side. So less so from Rasmus Christensen. Less so from Rasmus Christensen because Luke Ayling was fine the first half and Cody Drameh had a good second half. You've got plenty of options there. Maybe stick Rasmus on the left hand side. He's played there before. Maybe. That's it, folks. Anyway, listen, thanks for listening to me waffle on. No videos over the weekends. I'll be back here on Monday morning for more Leeds news. Thanks for everyone to support our channel this week, and I will see you on Monday for more Leeds news. Have a great weekend. Bye.